Hello everyone. I am very glad to see you again in this video. In this section, we are going to see about types of polymerization. So in last class, we have seen the basic concepts of polymers. In this video, we are going to see polymerization. What is the meaning of polymerization? Polymerization is a process through which a large number of monomer molecules react together to form a polymer. The macromolecules produced from a polymerization may have a linear or branched structure. It can also assume the shape of a complex three-dimensional network also. There exist several categories of polymerization reactions. The most important ones are step growth polymerization, chain growth polymerization. This step growth and chain growth polymerization both fall under the category of addition polymerization. Then the third important polymerization reaction is condensation polymerization reaction. So there are totally three important polymerization. One is step growth, chain growth polymerization, condensation polymerization. A polymer is a substance that is made up of very large molecules that are in turn made up of many repeating units called monomers. Polymerization is the process through which these monomers come together to form the macromolecules that constitute polymers. And illustrating detailing the polymerization of the monomer styrene into the polymer known as polystyrene is given below. So kindly see this reaction. This is a styrene structure. We have to take the number of styrene molecules. This styrene molecules undergoes polymerization. It gives the polystyrene molecules. Once the monomer should converted in undergoes the polymerization, it should be converted into a polymers. Okay, polymers. So what will be happen in this? The single monomer that will be connected with double bond will be break by undergoing polymerization. So this is the this symbol is denoted as a continuity of the polymer. So this is called it as polymerization. The example is styrene to polystyrene molecule. It should be noted that polymerization involving only one type of monomer are called photopolymerization. Whereas those involving more than one type of monomer are called copolymerization process. Instead of only one molecule of monomer like styrene molecule, if you are taken means it is called it as photopolymerization. In the case of many monomers we have taken, it is called it as a copolymerization process. It is called it as a copolymerization. Last video we seen that copolymers means combining of many molecules. That is called it as a copolymerization. If you are taking only one monomer, it is called it as a photopolymerization. In simple words, we can describe polymerization as a chemical process that results in the formation of polymers or the process of creating polymers. Once in the form, it may be a formation of polymers or else it should be creating the new polymers. When polymerization occurs, the smaller molecules, which are known as monomers, via chemical reactions are combined to form large molecules. In an ordinary way, the polymers occurs in smaller molecules by the molecules of small molecules. It is known as monomers. But in the case of undergoing chemical reactions, it's combined to form called it as a larger molecules. A collection of these larger molecules form a polymer. So it is single, it should be collection of larger molecules. It is called it as a polymer. The term polymer in general means large molecules with higher molecular mass. Okay, so poly means many, mer means units. So many units join together to form a polymer. If it is the large molecules, automatically the molecular weight, molecular mass also higher. They are also referred to as macromolecules. These larger molecules are otherwise called it as macromolecules, that is bigger molecules. The interesting part is that these are reactive molecules and are usually linked to each other by covalent bonds. These reactive molecules are linked by the covalent bonds. These monomers add together to form a long chain to form a product with specific properties. This whole process of the formation of polymer is called polymerization. So, for example, polyethylene and nylon 6,6 are some examples of the polymers. So, what is polymerization? What is polymer? Poly means many, mer means units, many units joined together to form a chain is called polymer. What is polymerization? The process of making polymers is called it as a polymerization. The polymerization or otherwise called it as a macromolecules. The process is otherwise called it as a macromolecules. What about the molecular mass of the macromolecules? It possesses higher molecular mass. It is also called it as a large molecules. Okay. So the next one, mechanism of polymerization. Mechanism of polymerization. Generally, polymerization consists of three steps which include initiation, propagation, and termination. These three are the main three steps involved in the polymerization. As for the reaction mechanism, the process of polymerization mainly involved two different methods. One is step growth mechanisms and chain growth mechanisms. Okay. So we are going to see about this two steps, step growth mechanism as well as the chain growth mechanism. What is step growth polymerization? Okay. In step growth polymerization, the polymers are formed by the independent reaction between the functional groups of simple monomer units. So first step, what we are going to do, uh, uh, it is an independent reaction. It should be undergo the reaction between functional groups of the simple monomer units. In step growth, each step may consist of a combination of two polymers having a different or the same length to form a longer length molecule. So in step growth polymerization, in each step, it consists of two polymers. Okay, number A molecule and B molecule, but those two molecules have the different or same length to form a longer length molecule. The reaction is lengthy process and the molecular mass is increased at very slow rate. If the molecule is lengthy process, it undergoes the many polymerization under the polymerization reaction, the molecular mass is increased, the rate is very slow. Okay. For example, step growth polymerization is condensation polymerization. Okay, so what is the meaning of condensation polymerization? There is a when addition of two monomers and form a polymer, there is a small molecule should be eliminated like water or HCl molecule should be eliminated. That is called it as condensation polymerization. In the case of addition polymerization, there is no elimination should be carried out. But in the case of condensation polymerization, there is elimination should be occurred. So where a water molecule is evolved in the reaction when the chain is lengthened. So this is called it as a step growth polymerization. Condensation polymerization, the formation of polymer occurs when there is a loss of small molecules as a byproducts through the reactions where the molecules are joined together. So in simple way, we can say that when we add the two monomers and to form a polymer, there is a byproduct occurs like small molecules, not heavy molecules, like small molecules like water, HCl as a byproducts in the reaction. That is called it as condensation reactions. Okay. So polyamide and proteins are some examples of the condensation polymerizations. Some of the different types of condensation polymerizations given here. So first one is polyamides. The second one is polyesters. First one is polyamides and second one is polyesters. These are synthetic fibers and are called nylons. This polyamides is called it as a nylons. These are called it as a synthetic fibers. These polymers have an amide linkage between them. So in this, during the reaction, the bond will be the amide linkage is present between the monomers. So condensation polymerization of diamines with dicarboxylic acid and also of amino acids and their lactams will create a polyamides. Okay, so it will be forming by case of diamines with dicarboxylic acid and also of amino acids. Some and their lactams will be create a polyamide. So in this polyamide, it should be under two examples. One is nylon 6,6. The second one is nylon 6. So nylon 6,6, this polymer is prepared under the condition of high pressures and temperature by the condensation polymerization of hexamethylene diamine with adipic acid. So these reactions will be seen already in the previous video. Kindly go through that and see this preparation of nylon 6,6. In this video, just I am giving the what are the monomers joined and undergo the condensation reaction and form the nylon 6,6. The reactions will be updated in the last videos. Nylon 6. It is prepared by heating the caprolactam with water under high temperatures. It is used for tired cords, fabrics, and ropes. These reactions, preparation reactions, also updated in the last videos. The second types of condensation polymerization is polyesters. When dicarboxylic acids and diols undergo polycondensation, polyesters are formed. When the polyesters are formed, the combinations of dicarboxylic acid and diols, two molecules of alcohols, undergoes the polycondensation. Polyesters will be formed. They are prepared by heating a mixture of terephthalic acid and ethylene glycol at 460 Kelvin by using zinc acetate antimony trioxide as a catalyst. Okay, so Dacron or terrin are the best known example of polyesters. So in many competitive exam, they will give the options Dacron, terrin, some other examples they given. So, but the best example is Dacron or terrin are the best examples of the polyesters. And also they are used for the glass reinforcing materials in safety helmets. This polyesters is used for the glass reinforcing material in the safety helmets. Okay. So the third one best example is a phenol formaldehyde polymer. These are the old synthetic polymers obtained by the condensation polymerization of phenol with formaldehyde in presence of either an acid or base catalyst. Okay. So in below the reaction they given. So this is the synthetic polymers. So it should be undergo the condensation reaction by adding the phenol with formaldehyde, HCHO formaldehyde and phenol in presence of either an acid conditions or in presence of base conditions. If it is in acid conditions, we have to undergo that is greater than 1. That is formaldehyde and phenol ratios will be compared to 1, it will be lesser than 1. Okay. So if it undergoes the acidic conditions, we can get the product of Novlac. We get the product of Novlac. In the case of base conditions, it will be greater than 1. That is the formaldehyde and phenol molecule ratios will be greater than 1. If undergoes the base reaction, it is formed as resol. It is formed as resol. Okay. So Novlac on heating with formaldehyde undergoes cross-linking. It will be undergoes the cross-linking and forms an invisible solid mass named as backlight. Will be called it as a backlight. They are used for combs, electric switches, and phonograph records. And it is called it as a used for a combs, electric switches, and phonograph records. Okay. So the next one is chain growth polymerization. The first one we seen that step growth polymerization. The second important one is chain growth polymerization. In chain growth polymerization, the molecule of the monomer are added together to form a larger chain. The monomers are added together to form a larger chain. So there is a stepwise the product will be formed. In this chain formations will be occurred. The monomers are added may be the same type or it may be a different type. Generally, alkenes, alkyldienes, and the derivatives are used to prepare the chain growth polymerization. In this method, the lengthening of chain occurs as a a result of the formation of either free radicals or ionic species. This chain growth polymerization occurred, that is, the formation should be based on the free radicals or in the ionic species. Free radical mechanisms. Many of the monomers like alkenes or dienes and their derivatives are polymerized in the presence of free radicals. The polymerization of ethene to polyethylene is by heating or exposing it to light by using a small amount of benzoyl peroxide as a initiator. So the phenyl free radical formed by peroxide is added to the ethane double bond and hence forms a new larger free radical. It is called chain initiation step. Okay, so the reaction will be given below. This newly formed radical will react with another molecule of ethene to form another new radical and so on. That is called it as chain initiations. This repeated formation of new free radical is called it as chain propagation. Propagations means chain growth reactions. Okay. So finally, at some of this stage, the polymerized product will be formed and this step is called it as a chain termination step. Terminate means we have to break the chain and get the products. These steps are given in a detailed below. So this is an important one. So during your exam, you have to write those, what is initiation, what is propagation, what is termination in theory part, as well as you have to write the mechanism of this chain growth polymerization. What is the three steps? Initiation, propagation, termination. First one is initiation. It is form the radical. It is form the radical. So radical will be undergo the ethane molecule. This radical will be shifted over here. The double bond will be broken. So this bond will be go here. Then this carbon atom gets the radical formations. Okay. So the second step is chain propagating step. So when what we get from the initiation, we have to take on. Then again we have to add the one more ethane molecule. So this radical will be go here in this carbon atom. The double bond will be break. The bond will be shifted over here. So then again the carbon gets the radical conditions. That is the multiple of carbon. If you are adding ethene molecule, it will be adding here. Okay. So this will be again undergo the propagations means forming the chains. Okay. So what we get from this step, we have to add and again add one more ethane molecule. The same reactions will be carry over here. So this radical will be go here. This bond will be shifted over here. Again, this carbon atom will get the radical molecules. Okay. So it goes on like this in the case of chain propagating step. What will be the third step? Termination step. In termination, there will be a break will be occur. So if you are taking this two molecules as a, so this one, and again this number of molecules you have to take it. These two radicals will be formed. It will form the bonds. It will form the new bonds and gives the polymer. And gives the polymer. This is chain terminating steps. Okay. So far we have seen what is polymerization. In this polymerization reaction, three polymerization reactions are there. One is step growth, chain growth, condensation. Step growth means it undergoes either in acid or base. It is formed as a backlight condition. Chain growth means there is involved in three steps. One is initiation, propagation, termination. Condensation polymerization means there is the elimination of small molecules like water. When we adding two monomers gives the polymer. There is a byproduct occurs in the reactions. So in this video, we have seen three polymerization reaction. One is step growth polymerization, chain growth polymerization, condensation polymerization. Thank you all. We'll meet in the next video.